June 1948, the rematch between champion Joe Louis and challenger Jersey Joe Walcott. It's round 3, the Yankee Stadium. Walcott backing away in the white trunks. Feints the left hand. Louis comes at him. Louis is down from a sharp right hand to the jaw. Can Louis successfully keep the crown in his 25th title defense?
The final chapter of a golden legend, the Joe Louis Jersey Joe Walcott Championship fights, is the theme of our show on The Way It Was. Dowdy. Welcome to another American sports classic. This week, boxing. And we're honored to present two former heavyweight champs who help us relive their memorable 1947 and 48 fights. The challenger, a Cinderella story come true. From Camden, New Jersey, Jersey Joe Walcott. And his opponent, a living legend, the heavyweight champion of the world, from Detroit, Michigan, the immortal Joe Louis. And to help us recreate this chapter of ring history, the voice of boxing, Hall of Fame sportscaster, Don Dumpy. And Don, welcome again to The Way It Was.
Thank you very much, Kurt.
All right, let's go back to 1947. What's the heavyweight fight scene?
Well, Joe Louis was in a class by himself. In 60 fights, he lost only one, and that was to Max Schmeling, which he avenged with a one-round knockout. Louis became the champ at age 22, and he fought every worthy challenger, defending the crown 23 times. In fact, during his reign, only Tommy Farr and Arturo Godoy were able to go the distance with him. But now Louis was 33, and he hadn't defended his crown in over a year since he'd KO'd Tommy Moriello in one round. So Joe needed work. Jersey Joe Walcott was also 33. He had had a checkered career. But with 2 wins over Joey Maxim and a victory over El Murray in 1947, he became the logical challenger for the crown. So Jersey Joe, a man other heavyweights were afraid to fight, who was forced to take menial jobs to keep his family clothed and fed, was given the opportunity of a lifetime. Jersey Joe Walcott would get a shot against the champion of the world, Joe Louis. Incidentally, Kurt, the fight was originally scheduled to be an exhibition match, but Commissioner Eddie Egan insisted that the title be on the line.
That's the stage. And now we're going to Madison Square Garden. It's December 5th, 1947. The first of their 2 fights, and let's take a very brief look at some highlights of that amazing first fight, and here's the voice of Don Dumpy.
Championship of the world, Walcott, the challenger in the white trunks, the champion Louis in black, spears out a left hand, a sharp jab to the chin thrown by Louis. He drives a right and a left to the head, another right to the jaw by Louis, and Louis is down from a short right hand to the jaw. Referee Ruby Goldstein wipes off the glove. Here's the 4th round. Walcott backing away, Louis in with a jab, and Louis is down for the second time in the fight. From the same punch, a sharp right hand to the jaw. He is taking the count from referee Goldstein. Louis survived the knockdowns, and we're in the 9th round. Louis, on the offensive, drives both hands to the head as Walcott rolls with the punches. Louis on the inside, shortens up, bangs his left and right to the body, misses a left at the jaw, takes a left hook on the mouth by Walcott. Walcott a short right uppercut to the jaw as he stays on the ropes. Louis hooks that left on the chin again, another left to the jaw, and Walcott trades with him. Louis has him against the ropes. Walcott a right to the jaw. Louis both hands to the head as the round is nearly over. In close, Walcott hooks that left hand to the head, forces Louis back, drives the right to the jaw, and there's the bell. The fight is fairly close as we go into the 15th and final round. Walcott moves away from Louis. He may think he's got the fight won. He's staying at long range as Louis trails him, trying to set him down. Walcott backs away, shuffles, goes into a cakewalk, comes off the ropes with a wild right and a wild left that barely land, and the fight is over. Louis may have thought he lost the fight. He started out of the ring, and his handlers bring him back in. Let's go up to the ring announcer, Harry Ballow.
Judge Frank Thorpe scores 6 rounds for Walcott, 1 round even, 8 rounds for Louis. Referee Ruby Goldstein scores 7 rounds for Walcott, 2 rounds even, 6 rounds for Louis. Monroe scores 9 rounds for Lewis, 6 rounds for Walcott. The winner by majority vote, and still the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis.
Lewis is still champion, but Walcott's handlers do not believe it, and many of the crowd of about 17,000 don't believe it either.
You're watching The Way It Was on ESPN Classic.
Before the decision was announced, Joe, you started out of the ring. Do you remember the way it was? Did you think you lost the fight?
No, I didn't think I lost the fight. It never come across my mind that you had to stay in the ring to have a decision. I never thought of it. I never heard of you had to stay in the ring. I knew I had boxed a bad fight, but also no walk. I did a lot of running too, and I always felt that you got to take the champion away from the fellow, but you must come to him. Well, I was a champion.
Now, there were a lot of stories that you thought that you might have been disgusted at yourself. Also,
I was disgusted at myself. That's why I wanted to go out of the ring, but not that I thought I had lost the fight. Cause I really thought that they say I win the fight. I could be in my dressing room, but Manny Seaman said no, so you got to stay in the ring. So that's why I got back in the ring.
Jersey Joe, in the 13th, 14th, 15th rounds, you did your little dance. I think Don called it the cakewalk, the shuffle. You stayed away. Were you told that you were ahead, just stay away from him, and you were going to be the winner?
Yes, my manager, my trainers told me that just to stay away and box and don't get in trouble. You can't lose a fight. You've at least won 10 out of the 15 rounds. And when the decision, when Lewis started the ring and they pulled him back in, it's surprising to hear the champ say this, but when they called him back in the ring and they gave him the decision, the champ came over to me, which I considered a real privilege and a high honor for him to be so honest about the outcome. He grabbed me by both hands and he said to me, "I'm sorry, Joe," meaning to me that he was acknowledging then that he had lost the decision.
Joe Louis, when you went to the corner, and did you tell him that you were sorry?
I'll tell everybody that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I beat you.
Well, that's the more proper thing to say, I think, than anything else.
But you didn't.
But I really thought I wouldn't. I didn't have no idea that I had lost the fight. I really didn't, because.
Are you serious, Joe?
I really am serious. Yeah, I know.
You can't be.
And again, what you saying about he's 33? Walk up with my hour. He's more than 33.
You looked up to him?
All right, now here's what we've got going here. This was back in '47. We still have two men here. Joe Louis was awarded the decision. He says he won the fight in his own heart, and Jersey Joe thinks he won the fight in his own heart. That's the way it is, isn't it?
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. That's the way it was. So, incidentally, Joe, is this to be your last fight?
I thought it was my last fight.
Yeah, this was going to be your last
After the 48th fight, I retired for 2 years. Then when Elvis Charles got to be the champion, because at that time, you know, no other heavyweight ever retired and regained the title. And when Charles became champion, I thought I had a shot at becoming, be the first one to do that, to regain the title after retiring.
You were away for 2 years.
I waited for 2 years, yeah.
And what kind of
quite natural. The income tax has also something to do with me coming back, too.
Yeah, we know that.
So it was a good payday.
Joe Louis, the gentleman he's always been, probably the most popular man in any sport in this country, didn't retire, as he just told you, and he also decided to give Jersey Joe a return shot. They signed for one more fight, which would be held outdoors at Yankee Stadium. But this one, win, lose, or draw, was probably going to be the champ's last fight.
We'll return in a moment to The Way It Was on ESPN Classic.
And so the scene's set. Now let's go now for the second fight between Walcott and Louis, June 25th, 1948, and let's join Don Dumphy at ringside.
The Yankee Stadium is the scene for this rematch between the champion, Joe Louis, and his challenger, Jersey Joe Walcott. Last December, Lewis won a very controversial, very unpopular win over Walcott at Madison Square Garden. His promoter, Mike Jacobs, he's beaming because of the $800,000 gate. And from Hollywood, Jack Benny and Bob Hope. Adolphe Menjou, impeccably attired as usual. Eddie Cantor. Joan Blondell and producer Mike Todd. And FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover. In a moment, the ring announcer, Harry Ballow, will introduce the principals in this bout, and we'll be underway.
Of this most important heavyweight championship contest, may the arm of the better participant be elevated in token of victory. This is the stellar presentation, 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. From Camden, New Jersey, weighing 194 3/4 pounds, wearing white trunks with black stripes, the outstanding and most capable challenger, Jersey Joe Walcott. From Detroit, Michigan, weighing 213.5 pounds, wearing purple trunks, the internationally famous heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis. This microphone is close to your mouth as possible, but close to your mouth.
Round one for the heavyweight championship of the world, the rematch between Joe Louis in the black trunks, Jersey Joe Walcott in the white, the referee Frankie Fulham. Louis a bit cautious now. He came in wide open the first time they met in December. Walcott feinting with that left hand, moving it in and out, backs away from Louis. Louis coming in on him. He's short with the left hand. Walcott is short with a jab aimed at the mouth. Louis is crouching a little bit towards the right as Walcott shows no inclination to trade with him at the moment. He keeps moving those hands up and down. The referee around them, and Louis is in with a right hand that's partially blocked after he scores with the left. Walcott feints the left hand, backs into the ropes, gets away from a jab. Round two went to Walcott. Here's round three. Louis, his gloves up in front of his face. Walcott's down around his hips. Walcott goes into a cakewalk, moves away from a jab thrown at his head by Louis. Walcott feints that left hand. The referee, Frankie Fulham, walks around him, and the action slows down. Walcott moves away from a right thrown at his head by Louis. It's wide of the mark. Walcott out in the center, pecks out with a left hand that's short. Tries a jab to the body. That doesn't get in there. Walcott jabs the left hand on the mouth of Louis, who makes no return. Louis coming in on Walcott. Walcott backing away. Walcott drives the right hand to the jaw, and Louis is down. The third time that Louis has been down in their two fights so far. Frankie Fulham, the referee, wipes off the gloves. Over anxious, Walcott drives the right over the head of Louis, and the champion holds on for a moment. We'll see how the champion is in a moment. If he can weather the storm, he ducks under a wild left hand thrown at the head by Walcott, who still is over anxious. And a right by Walcott is wide of the mark. Louis seems all right. Louis comes in with a jab, and Walcott dances back out of range. He drives another right around the head of Louis, and that does not land. And they hold on to each other for a moment. They're parted by the referee. Walcott feinting the left hand, sticks out a jab that's short of the mark at the bell. Round four. Louis is out there quickly. Apparently he's all right. Walcott circles his man, doesn't throw anything, keeps his hands wide apart. Louis has his gloves up in front of his face again, defending against the jab. Walcott moves in on him. Louis backs away, gets away from the jab. Louis drives the left hand to the body. Walcott takes the left and a right to the jaw, another right to the jaw thrown by the champion, and Walcott bangs both hands to the head as the referee comes over to get them out of a clinch. Now at long range again. Walcott moving in on Lewis. Lewis feinting the left hand. Walcott backs away. Here's Lewis coming in on him, stalking his man. Walcott cakewalking, gets away from the right, ducks under another right, and moves out into the center of the ring. Walcott pecks out a jab that's short. Lewis coming in on him. Walcott shoots out another jab that barely reaches the chin. Walcott jabs the left on Lewis's nose. Lewis coming in on Walcott, takes the left to the body, blocks the right thrown at his head. Lewis coming in again. Walcott bangs his gloves together at the bell. Round 5. Out in the center of the ring they go. Walcott drives the left that's short of the mark. Walcott's jab is again short. Another is short. And Lewis just stands there without a return. Lewis is stalking his man, seemingly looking for that one good punch that could turn the fight his way. He moves away from a jab thrown by Walcott. Now Lewis puts that sharp jab on the nose. Walcott backing away, rolls from side to side, ducks the left, counters with a right hand on his head. A jab to the chin thrown by Lewis. Walcott backing away from his man, moving his gloves up and down, gets away from another jab thrown by the champion. The challenger is short with the left hand. The referee, Frankie Fulham, walking around the gladiators. Lewis coming in on his man again. He's trying to get that one good punch in there if he sees the opening. Walcott won't let him. He just moves away, does a cakewalk from side to side. Lewis coming in on him a half foot at a time. Lewis drives the right hand to the jaw of Walcott. Walcott backs away, and again they go in close and tie each other up. The referee is over to get them apart. At long range, Walcott backs away after taking a jab on the chin, a right on his head, a left hook to the jaw thrown by Lewis. Lewis drives the right to the body, and Lewis is staggered by a right hand to the jaw. Walcott almost had him down again. The champion holds on, and the referee gets them apart. At long range, Walcott drives that right over the head, misses another right. Again, he's over anxious. Lewis drives the left hand to the jaws. Walcott comes in on him. Lewis gets away from a jab thrown at his chin by Walcott. Walcott backing towards the ropes. The champion coming after him. Lewis a jab, but a right is wide of the mark. Lewis gets away from a right hand thrown to the head by Walcott, and again they go to close quarters at the bell.
You're watching The Way It Was on ESPN Classic.
Now, Jersey Joe, through the first 5 rounds, the fight seems to be going according to your plan?
Yes. This is a start. This is the type of battle that my handlers wanted me to work.
What was the strategy?
To move in and slip, take counter punch, move out, feint, step in and out.
How did it feel to you after 5 rounds, Joe?
But all I remember my trainer telling me, you know, start pushing him a little bit faster, because...
Go after him more.
Go after him a little bit more, yeah.
Jersey Joe, let's go back to round 3 where you knocked Joe Louis down. It's the 3rd time you've done it in 2 fights. We're going to put it in slow motion on an instant replay, and we'd like you to tell us the way it was, what you're thinking about, how you got the knockdown. So here it is.
Well, I knew if Lewis put his left hand down, and if I kept feinting him and pulling him in, I would eventually be able to get a right hand in, and which put him a right hand and down he went. And then after he got up, he was the most luckiest guy ever in the world. He was just lucky enough to fall underneath the right hands I was throwing. I was too excited because I was trying to finish it then. He was just lucky enough to be, and weak enough to fall underneath the right hands grabbing me, and I was unable to finish him. But I had him at that point, but he got away.
Now let's see what the champ says. Did he have you then, Joe?
No, he didn't have me at all. I know what I was doing all the time.
Jersey Joe, you've come up with the real first on The Way It Was. You're the first one who ever implied that Joe Louis was lucky in a fight.
Yeah, he definitely was lucky that night. Believe me.
You thought he had him nailed, and that was it.
No question about it. No question.
Joe, how could an old man like that get excited? I mean, he's been around.
He's been around, and I was looking at a picture over there. He looked a little better than I looked, too.
All right. Let's go back to Yankee Stadium, and here it is. This is the last part of the second fight between Joe Louis and Jersey Joe Walcott. The first 5 rounds have been very close. Walcott is out in front. He's knocked Joe Louis down, and the crowd, the big crowd here at Yankee Stadium now is really on the edge of their seats. And to take you the rest of the way, Here's Don Dumpy with round 6.
Round 6 at the Yankee Stadium for the heavyweight championship of the world. Champion Joe Louis in the black trunks. Challenger Jersey Joe Walcott in the white trunks. Walcott shuffles away from his man. Louis coming in, very determined, but not throwing a great deal of punches. Walcott dances up and down, shoots out a jab that's short, takes a grazing right hand to the jaw, thrown by the champion Joe Louis. Walcott backing towards the ropes, gets away from a left hand at his body, a light jab. Walcott misses the left, takes a left hook on the mouth as Louis counters him. Walcott drives the left hand to the body, a right that goes over the head. Walcott moves in on Louis again. Louis just stands there. Walcott tries the right. It is blocked at the bell. Louis won the 7th and 8th rounds. Here is the 9th. It is a fairly close fight, despite the fact that Louis was down once. Walcott just scored with a right hand to the jaw. Walcott feinting the left hand, backs away. Walcott takes a light jab on the chin, thrown by Joe Louis. Louis moving in on his man again, dances up and down himself. Walcott misses the right. He's countered with a right hand to the jaw. Walcott is short with the left, misses the right over the head. Louis finding the range now, hooks the left hand on the jaw. Walcott a sharp right to the jaw of Louis. Louis takes it without a return, and Walcott is in on him. And they go to close quarters and tie each other up on the inside. Referee Frankie Fulham has them apart again. Walcott takes a jab on the chin, thrown by Louis. Louis just stands there. Now he's coming in again. Tries a jab to the body, trying to bring down the guard. It's already down, though, at the bell. Walcott won the 10th round, and we're in round 11 of a very close fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. Champion Louis just standing there, gets away from a light jab at his body, thrown by Walcott. Walcott dancing around. Both boys seem in fairly good shape. Walcott moves away again. Here's Louis coming in on his man. Louis just stands there. Walcott fires a left that's short. Louis is short with his own left hand. Walcott short with a jab at the chin, short with another. Louis keeps boring in on his man. Walcott moves along the ropes, out to the center of the ring. Short with a jab, dances up and down. Louis just stands there. Walcott dances up and down with another jab that's short. Now he starts in, does another cakewalk. A couple of jabs by Louis are wide of the mark. Walcott was in with a jab, a short right to the jaw, and drives Louis back with the punch. Louis ducks under a left hand. Walcott coming in on him again. Louis backing towards the ropes, is short with a jab. Walcott goes into a dance. The shuffle takes a sharp right to the jaw. That may have hurt him. He wobbled for a second. Another right to the head by Louis. He drives the right hand to the body. Louis caves the body with the right. Hooks the left that goes wide over the head. Drives another right. Walcott is in trouble on the ropes. He's taking a lot of punishment, but he gamely fights back with a left and a right to the jaw. A left hook to the jaw by Walcott. And Louis is raining blows on him, and Walcott is down. And I don't know if he's going to get up. The count is being told over him by the referee, Frankie Fulham. Walcott gamely trying to get up there, shakes his head. He is in real trouble, though, and the fight is over. In Joe Louis' 25th title defense, he looks like the great champion of old as he KO'd a game Jersey Joe Walcott, a gallant fighter. Here we are in Joe Louis's dressing room. He's being interviewed by his trainer, Manny
Joe,
Seaman.
when you knocked him down, did you think he'd get up?
No, man, I saw when I had him. I know when he went down, he couldn't get up. I hit him with 4 or 5 very good punches.
I thought you hit him with my left hook, Joe.
Well, man, I hit him with my right, too. Well, I'd like to say again that I retired. Tonight was my last fight. And thank you very much.
This is... You're watching The Way It Was on ESPN Classic.
What did your trainer, Manny Seaman, tell you between the 10th and 11th round, Joe? Do you recall the way it was?
Well, he told me that I'm got to fight a little harder. No question about that. Manny was a good trainer. And he knows the boxing game pretty well. So he told me I got to hustle a little bit more.
What about you, Jersey Joe? Some people thought you might have been a little overconfident there.
Well, I was very confident on winning, but as if you would run and notice the referee's action in the ring, from about the 7th, 8th round through the 11th, he continuously harassed me about getting that walkout. If you don't get it, I want to start the fight. And at the time I got caught, I was trying to say to him that, what do you want from me? And I'm looking at him, and as I hit the bounce off the rope, that was it.
I know one thing.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Since that what Joe just said is, I like to apologize to the fighter when they were talking to the referee. I'm sorry.
You know what I was about to say, Joe? If I were in the ring with Joe Louis, I wouldn't be turning around talking to anybody else. Joe, let's go back. Joe Louis here on an instant replay, and this is a fight very similar to the Billy Conn fight where you came out and nailed him in the 13th with Conn was ahead on points. You had to have a fast finish or get your man. Let's go back to that KO now in the 11th round, Joe, and set it up for us. Let's get your comments, how the way it was.
Well, quite natural, like Joe said. He came out in the 11th round. He did fight a little bit more than he did the other rounds. He come at me a little bit, and that what made me catch him. And whether the referee was talking to him, I don't know. I didn't hear the referee say anything to him, but...
the first right did the damage, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Now, you know you've got him here?
Well, you just won't let him fall until you know he's gonna be out when he hit the cameras. See?
How you feeling? Not very good right now, are you, Jersey Joe?
At the point until I got hit and got knocked down, I wasn't in no trouble at all. I felt good. I was in good shape until I finally got nailed. And I'd also like to say that once he ever got a fight in trouble, he very rarely escaped. He was the greatest heavyweight finisher, in my opinion, of all time.
Now, you had two fights with two of the greatest punchers of all time, Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano. Mm-hmm. Who was the hardest puncher?
Well, they were both, their styles were different. Marciano, he continuously threw punches with all the force. He had no science, no ability to do anything other than throw like he was throwing a baseball. Louis was a rhythm puncher. Once he hit you with a left, he hit you a right and right, left, left. Very few fighters could ever escape once he got in trouble. Once he got a fighter hurt, he was. This was it. Well, Marciano was a fellow was a one-punch artist. And if to compare the two as punches, for one punch, I think Marciano had a harder punch than Louis, but Louis would finish a fighter much easier, much quicker by his devastating, continuous rhythm of left and right, left and right.
We want to thank our champions, Jersey Joe Walcott, Joe Louis, and the Dean of American blow-by-blow announcers, Don Dunphy. And so it was that Jersey Joe Walcott, who never knew the meaning of fear, fought on until at the age of 37, reached his lifelong dream and did become the heavyweight champion of the world. He knocked out Ezzard Charles. Jersey Joe retired in 1953 to work with the handicapped and mentally retarded in his hometown of Camden, New Jersey. Jersey Joe Walcott, truly a shining example for the youth of America. As for Joe Louis, well, we've seen only a brief glimpse of the reason that he's inscribed in American history as the greatest champion of all time. Joe Louis wore his crown with dignity and regal bearing inside the ring and out. But that night at Yankee Stadium would be the last time he hear himself described the winner and still heavyweight champion of the world. This is Kurt Gowdy saying that's the way it was when the final chapter of a golden legend came to an end.